Hey, old folks. All right, here we are, live with the Shaman. Doesn't look like anybody's come in yet. That's fine. Okay, so we are discussing the series of actual training within the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, the different things and the different ways that we train. And these training sessions are actually designed for the remote students and for those of us that have been in it for a very long time, kind of as a refresher, if you will. That's what these classes are about. Looks like Facebook is already playing up, so there you go. What else is new? Well. So today we are continuing on first year training part 2. It talks about this week. We'll cover the training, the meaning, and use of Sabbaths, um, what they are, where they came from, their history, um, the cardinal points, what they are, where they came from, their history, how they work. We're going to continue on with that. Last week, I think we had kind of really covered the cardinal points. But one of the things I wanted to take a look at, and I wanted to try to give a moment for a couple of more people to show up, because I know there were several that were interested in watching the broadcast. So, the reason we've started, and I'll give you just a little bit of history here to kill a little bit of time. The reason we started this whole situation was it's hard to train a remote student, and anybody that tells you they can train you in the shaman path through a book, through, you know, read this book, you'll be a shaman. That's crap. That's total crap. That's out there to make money. And I get it. There are some of the books that are good reading. I've read some and listened to some of the audio books out there. That's not to go to say that all shamans writing books are quacks. I'm not even going to get into validating that conversation. However, when you get into trying to learn a path strictly off of books without some kind of interaction with others, you're missing 2/3 of your training. Reading books and reading data is only 1/3 of your training, and that's in any topic, whether you're in school, whether you're getting a degree. Um, I have 2 degrees in computer science, networking, server engineering, and Linux basics. That does absolutely no good without practical experience. So, um, degrees, certifications, whatever, you can be certifiably degreed, you can be degreeably certifiable, and unless you have some kind of practical experience, you're sucking hind tit. Once again, I do remind you that Live with the Shaman is typically an adult based program. We do use curse words on occasion. We do not have or allow nudity on this channel. Yeah, well, you might see some belly dancing on the intro music, but who doesn't like good belly dancing, right? So, let's get on with it, shall we? We'll go until, as usual, till my voice gets tired. I think we've covered as much as we can. And those of you watching the pre recorded broadcast later, please feel free to interact, ask questions, send me some questions. I'll be glad to answer them because there's no way we can cover everything in a single sitting as to this does this or that does that. Right? Here we go. All right. I can get my system to switch over there. Here we are. All right. So those of you that are joining late, here we go. Part number 2, first year training. Um, right now, we're starting out with the elements. Well, I want to go back and I want to start with our cardinal points associated with elements in shamanism. No, they are not. The reason they're not is each cardinal point, and again, a quick review from last week. The cardinal points are north, east, south, and west. And if you want to know what they are and how they work, you'll need to go back and watch First Year Training Part 1. So, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit in ending the cardinal point conversation with why the elements are not associated with cardinal points. Now, if you want to get scientific with it, they actually are, because the cardinal points do affect the elements to a degree. Okay? So, in shamanism, now I know that in a lot of Wiccan and witchcraft circles, there are certain elements that are associated with cardinal points. And I can't remember what they are. If anybody can remember that's watching the broadcast, feel free to post them in the chat. But what I mean by a cardinal point associated with an element is when you call a cardinal point, say for example, you call north. Wiccans and witches would call north in association with a particular cardinal point, or a particular element, sorry. Well, in shamanism, especially in the GCS, we teach that the cardinal points stand alone, yet together with the elements. And once you experience that in an actual circle call, you'll get the idea of the energy that I'm talking about. Right. So continuing on, what are the elements? What are the elements? Well, I think people have wanted me to type in what what are the cardinal points. So we'll go ahead and do that while we're here. All right. So we have north, east, south, west, right? And then the elements. Well, here we go with my inability to spell again. Right? Element 1 is spirit. Spirit, earth, air, fire, and water. Now, those are the elements. What are they? Well, let's think about it. Spirit. Spirit is not always my spirit, your spirit, animal spirit, but spirit of the cosmos, spirit of Mother Earth, spirit of the people in circle. When you have a bunch of people in circle, you can bring those spirits to create one energy. And the purpose, the responsibility of a caller of circle is to bring all of those different energies, all of those different personalities to follow in with what the circle is supposed to be about. So you're bringing all of those spirits together as one spirit. Now, generally, when I personally call spirit, I may be calling Great Spirit, I may be calling spirit as a whole, such as if I'm doing Yule, I'll be calling the spirit of Yule. If I'm doing Samhain, I may be calling the spirit of Samhain. So you can essentially call whatever spirit of whatever Sabbath it is you're looking to call. Next element, of course, is earth. Well, ho ho ho, if we didn't have earth, there would be none of us. Earth is the mother, she is the bringer of life, she is everything we have to survive or to start our survival. Now, this being said, if the only thing we had was earth and we didn't have air, fire, and water, well, we wouldn't be, would we? Air. Air consists of the blowing winds, the breeze, oxygen that we breathe, all of the other components, the scientific elements of air, all of the other different chemicals that are involved in air. Human beings now, you don't believe me, you can look this up. Human beings cannot survive much on oxygen alone. We have to have oxygen, carbon based, there are atoms, there's a whole bunch of chemical processes that make up air. Air, you'll notice one of the elements is not oxygen, right? Oxygen, believe it or not, is a chemical. Air is an element that air breathing beings, such as mammals, have to survive. Fire, well, we should know what fire is. Um, Humans for hundreds of thousands of years didn't have fire. They didn't know how to cook their meals. They didn't know how to cook their meat. They learned that essentially later by accident, according to history, of course. There's no written record of that time, so my thought was, how the hell do they know that by history? Yeah, but without fire, we would cease to exist. Fire is just not something that humans make. Fire is a natural part of the earth elements. Water, well, if I have to tell you what water is, then, well, you need to go back to grade school. However, here's one of the things where people say, and they get real confused, that when we talk the blood of the mother, when we talk about giving blood as a sacrifice, as a ritual, as shamans, we're not talking about the blood of deer, the blood of humans, the blood of a human thing or a living thing. We are talking about the blood of the mother, which is water. Now, a lot of misconceptions. There are covens out there. There are groups and groves and what have you of people that use, and I'll go ahead and say it, but they use menstrual blood, hence by their thinking the blood of the mother. In the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, however, we do not and will not and have not used living blood. When we talk about the blood of the mother, we're talking about water. Now, what I'm going to do here shortly, once we get into the furthermore, if you will, of this conversation, is I'm going to do just a basic call. I'm going to do a basic call of the elements. And unfortunately, I do not have all of my cameras working. The software has proven itself not capable of pulling up multiple cameras at the same time, though I'm working on that. Yeah, I am working on that, trust me. So, what we're looking at, what are they? Well, we just covered that, right? The elements are those elements in which we call, depending on what we're doing within circle. How are they used? Well, here we go. Where are they from? Well, where they're from, where the elements are from is a bit of a rhetorical question. Let's think about that for a minute. Where are they from? Where are the elements from? Well, Earth, it's from the cosmos. It's the Earth is, it just is. It's a great big rock. Where is it from? It's from dust and dirt and compacted and millions of years of compaction and death and birth and death and rebirth and growth and what have you. Spirit, well, Earth Mother does have a spirit. Of course she does. She's a living, growing, dying, living, growing being that breathes and moves with the turn of the seasons. Now, the the Earth, she just is. Where are they from? Well, air. You can Google what causes air. What causes air, essentially, simplistically, is the changing of the temperatures on the planet, the rotation of the moon around the planet, the the motion of the ocean, if you will, can also cause air, but that actually causes wind. So air simply is. Air is movement. It is the movement of the air that we breathe. Air is the air that we breathe. It is the substance in which human beings breathe. Fire, where's fire from? Where fire is a natural part of Mother Earth. Fire is in the core. Fire is above in the form of lightning. Fire is also above in the form of Father Sun. It is fire is a part of the mother, just as if fire, without fire, the earth would be just a great big empty stone with absolutely nothing on it. Water, water is the giver of life as we know it. Now, am I going to sit here and say that without water there can be no life on the universe or in the cosmos? No, I'm not that stuck up my own ass to think that every living thing within the cosmos has to have water. However, we, as carbon based atoms and as carbon based beings, require water to live, function. Yes, water is a life giving element to us. Now, like I say, how are they used? Well, we have the elements. And like I said a while ago, morning Clint, morning Sabrina. Like I said a while ago, I'm going to just kind of do a quick beginning and I will turn whichever direction the cardinal point is and my specific geographical location, right? Battery's about dead. Have spares. So, let's think about this, right? North is to my right, okay? East is behind me. South is to my left. West is forward on from me. It just so happens when the moms set up the house, they set it up facing east to west. Part of their yin, if you would, their peace is to have their home setting east to west, with the front door opening to the north. How you set up the yin of your house is up to you. I generally like for my bed to have my head either in the north or in the south. Either way, that's just my personal thing. We can get into all of that at a later date. So, what I'm going to do is, for the sake of training, is I'm going to get my cord up here so that I don't get tangled up in the damn thing. Catch a vape real quick. So I'm going to ask real quick before I get started. Does anyone have any questions about the cardinal points or the elements? Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go through a basic call of the cardinal points. And then once those are called up for the purposes of training, I will call them back down. So I want you to get a sense of what it is to call the elements up, the cardinal points. I want you to get a sense of what it is to call the cardinal points up and to call them down. Do I need candles? No, I do not. I need what's in my heart. Right? So any questions? If you have any questions, speaketh now, forever hold your peaces. Right. Nope. Alright then. Keep in mind, like I say, east is behind me. North is to my right. So, here we go. And, well, I'm not going to stand up. Well, maybe I will. Here we go. I wonder if I can get this up. Oop. Ow. Oh, well. That's not going to work out well. No. Alright. Oh, no, that's kind of cool. The light up at the top. The light up the top up there. Dabby. Well. Like I say, I've been trying to get all of these cameras to work with the software, and I don't have it yet. Once I do, it'll be kind of cool because I can just flip cameras. I got the cameras. I just got to get the damn things to work with the software. Haha. Right, calling up of cardinal points, north. Great Spirits of the North, I ask that you be with us here today for the positive flowing of energy. Open up the northern portal that it may fill me with the positive energy needed for day to day. Great Spirits of the East, the home of the rising sun, for it is through your light and your warmth that I find my ability to make it through every day, shining to light my way. Great Spirits of the East, I ask that you be with me here, and we be with the students while they're learning their lessons. Great Spirits of the West, for the home of the moon, for it is through darkness that we understand light. The natural being of things, the natural way of things we understand is dark. But without the moon, we would have no balance. Without the darkness, we would have no light. We ask that the Western energies be with us at this moment for the training of the students. In the that was south. I just completely screwed that up. I'm glad they get that I'm human. Back to the left for the southern portal. See? Even we screw up. Ah, please forgive me, great spirits of the south, for the vacuum of negative energy. For as to the north, one cannot be without the other. Be with us, the southern portal, vacuum the negative energy, and help us find our balance. Now to the west. I did that. Great spirits of the west, as I said a while ago, it is through the darkness for which we can see light. For we understand the balance of the moon and the sun is paramount in our living and our existence. It is through that that we open the western portal. We ask that it is through the darkness that we see the light. And as the cardinal points are cast for the elements of training, for this the training purposes, I ask that you be momentarily be with us. So mote it be, and blessed be. That is the calling of the cardinal points. Now, do you have to have special training to do this? Nope. Am I tangled up in my cord? Yep. You can call the elements very quietly. You can call the elements wherever you are. You can sensibly grab those elements and draw a form of peace wherever you are. However, if you're calling circle for a purpose and you're casting up the energy, we always call the cardinal points first. Do you have to say exactly what I just said? Absolutely not. The basics are the same. I say again, the basics are the same. North, positive energy. East, home of the rising sun through the light. South, opening the portal to vacuum the negative energy because natural energy flows north to south, or at least it does right now. We all know that the magnetic points of the earth are shifting at this point in time. You can look that up as well. And then of course we have the west, home of the setting sun, the rising of the moon, for it is through darkness that we see light. Do you have to call it with the exact words I used? Absolutely not. However, as a dedicate to the Grove of the Celtic Shaman, you do have to start in the south. North. Shit, I can't think today. You do have to start in the north and go clockwise. Everything we do in Circle Protocol is clockwise. Clockwise. I say again, clockwise. We do not go counterclockwise. Counterclockwise to us is counterproductive. So um, as we enjoy the feeling of the cardinal points cast up, we don't want to keep them for long. We know that they're always with us. We know they're always in our heart. They're always a part of who we are. Without them, we have no existence. So it is that in which we give thanks to those cardinal points for coming with us today for this training process, the Grove of the Celtic Shaman. Now, how do we call them down? Calling them down is a simple thank you, right? I always like to face north and I call down all of the cardinal points at one time. This is something that I typically recommend that students use and say when they're calling down cardinal points, right? Here we go to the north. Great spirits of the cardinal points, where it was north, east, south, and west that was with us today. You came long enough to help teach the students, embrace them in your energy. As I close the portals now, for you are always open in my heart, go if you must, stay if you will. Thank you for your patience in us. So mote it be, and blessed be. And at that point, I would already be facing the northern altar, and we would kind of, if we were just doing an energy raising for the cardinal points, then we would have been done, break out the drums, bring out the dancing. It's all good. We needed to raise energy. I'm energetic as hell right now. And here shortly, I probably won't be able to talk. right? The elements. The elements are a little more drawn out because the elements are done in not quite such an easy manner. And what I'm going to do is, I actually meant to do this earlier, but I'm going to jump over to the OpenGCS real quick and get a copy of the circle protocol just simply because I don't want to have to look the damn thing up. And I want to get a layout for you of the call of the elements. Here we go. Give me just a moment. More files. Rules. Circle, 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 circle. There we are. Alright, circle layout. Alright, east, west, south. Okay, so save image as circle layout, video. There we go. Open. Right. All right. So that was done pretty quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring you over here and I'm going to copy and we're going to paste this in council, triad. Where are they from? Okay. Right. So here is the layout for, and this is a very, very, I say again, very simplistic layout of a GCS circle, and maybe this will help some of you. So you'll notice in a circle, north corresponds with spirit, but north is not called at the same time as spirit. Well, then we have our quarters. Sometimes calling the cardinal points is also called calling the quarters. Right. Enjoy your day, Sabrina. Thank you for watching what you could. Be sure and watch the pre-recorded later. All right. Have a great day. Okay. So sometimes calling the cardinal points are called calling quarters. Well, then you cut that down in half, right? And we're calling air, fire, water, earth, and we're going to start with spirit, right? We're always going to start with spirit. And then we're going to go half of the quarter, and we're going to call air, and then fire, and then water, and then earth. Now, the reason I always call earth last, so let's talk about these for a minute. I always call spirit first. Always, always, always call spirit first. Everything builds on spirit in the elements. And then I call air, For without air, well, we don't have much of spirit because all of us would be dead. And then I call fire. Fire keeps us warm. It cooks our meals. It lights our way. It brings us light. I'll call water. The blood of the mother. The blood of Mother Earth. Water washes us. It quenches us. It keeps us whole. And then I call earth. Earth is the home of all living creatures. Mother Earth is home. So, with that being said, um, the elements are a bit harder to call because I have no reference for the halfway point, but I'll figure it out. So, here in a minute, what I'm going to do is I will do for educational purposes. And we used to do educational circles all the time, all the educational circles all the time on property. But what I'll do is I'll do a educational call of the elements, right? Let my voice rest for just a minute. Typically in circle, what we would do is we would start in the north and then we would walk around to each point and we would call that point and we would have candles set and herbs, candles and herbs are herbs, whatever, on that altar. So we had 9 altars. So anybody ringing a bell for 9 altars is a council of 9? Hmm? 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 Anybody? Mueller? 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 No. Um, Mueller took the day off. Right. So without further ado, let's let's call up the elements, if you will, and this will kind of give some of you a refresher, and some of you that have never done it, a good set to call. Now, I have been known, and I will tell you now. I have been known, depending on what my spirit guide's leading me to do, is call elements in different places. Understand that. As long as spirit is in north, as long as spirit is in north, your other elements can call as they come to you, as they speak to you. Again, we do not call elements in cardinal points. The only element that is called in the cardinal point is spirit, because spirit always aligns with north. And the triad we will cover later. Right? So, onward and upward, without further ado, here we go. We're going to start in the north with spirit. Right? Spirit, I call for your intelligence, your education, your love, and your energy. This is a calling for training. So open the minds of those who watch the video, who watch the broadcast, and open their minds to the training. So mote it be. Then I get tangled up in the wire. Then I ask air. For without air we have no breath. Without air we have no life. We do not call the wind this day, yet we call on air to keep us refreshed, breathing and breathing smoothly. So mote it be. And we come around. I ask fire to show us our way, to keep us warm, the cook of our food, the preparation of who we are. For without fire, we cannot keep warm. Without fire, we have no light. We ask fire to be a part of our education today. So mote it be. Mother Earth, Mother Earth, for without you we have no life. We have no beginning, we have no end. We have no home. We thank you, Mother Earth, for being with us. And I missed water. Therefore, I'm going to go back and call water. Yes, well, I make mistakes. So we're going to call on water to keep us fresh and cleansed. Be with us today through this training exercise. Are you ready to believe? You should be able to believe that this is the first time I've ever done this online. Normally, when I do training circles or training rituals, I am either on the phone where I'm standing up actually performing the ritual, or I'm in circle where everything just falls into place. Now we're going to call down the elements. And the elements are done the same way that we call down the cardinal points, right? Face north, right? Spirit, earth, air, fire, and water. We thank you for being with us through this training exercise. To those that watch the broadcast and they hopefully will comment and they learn, we thank you for your patience. You're always in our hearts. Go if you must, stay if you will. So mote it be. So with this as a bit of a training thing, if you will, we this is the first time I've ever done this online. It's the first time I've ever videoed it. So I apologize if I got screwed up on who, what, went where. I'm not used to doing it sitting in a chair. And of course I was going to stand, but the green screen doesn't go that high. And the camera, quite frankly, doesn't go that high. I do have one that is that high, but I can't switch to the damn thing. There you go. So, with this in mind, we talked about the elements and the cardinal points, and we did kind of a quick call, if you will, of the basic understanding of how they're called, how they're used, how to call them up, and how to call them down. So this should give you a better answer as to who and what is counsel. Right? So this leads us into our next topic for our next broadcast. Who and what is counsel? And we'll be pulling in those counsel, gods and goddesses, if you will. We'll be talking in great depth and detail about how you find your counsel. Is your counsel just simply the cardinal points and the elements? If so, that's great. Does your council of 9 not have names for them? That's great too. That's perfectly fine as well. So one of the things you definitely need to remember is as each of us go through our daily lives and we go through these things that make us who we are, and we're learning and we're getting that education. Remember that a lot of your education is actually going to come from within yourself, your life experiences, people you know, people you like, people you don't like, and people you just really don't want to be around. Shaman, we're an interesting breed of folk. We really are. Can you call circle sitting in one place, facing one direction, with your mind's eye going to the different directions? You absolutely can. I have a tendency sometimes, a lot of times at work. I will call the cardinal points to help keep me calm at work, to help keep me stable. Do I always remember to call them down? No, I don't. However, if you're calling an actual circle and you do not call down circle, you won't sleep well. And if you do get any sleep at all, it won't be restful because your essence is tied to that call. Your essence is attached to that circle that you called. So you always want to remember, call down circle when you're done. When I'm casting an altar, when I get to the point of where I'm covering altar cast, which will be pretty quick, um, I leave a command with the candles that something along the lines of the energy is tied to the candle as long as the candle shall stay lit. And I'll close it with so mote be, blessed be, whatever hits me. So as you can tell, as you can firmly see, shamanism is not tied up in a whole bunch of ceremonial, all right? We're not tied up in a whole bunch of ceremonialism. Most of our ceremonialism is preparing circle for us, preparing us for circle, preparing people for circle, preparing the circle overall, getting everything ready. That's part of the ceremony. You're getting, if you're going to have a feast, you're preparing the feast, you're best blessing the food, you're getting everything laid out, you're making sure everyone knows their places, their expectations, and what it is that you're going to do. That falls into the pre-rit circle, the pre-ritual meeting, gathering, if you will. All of that will be covered as we go along. So first year, as you can tell, there is a lot you're going to cover as a first year. First year is pretty much all of the basics that are required for doing everything you need to do within your ceremonial ritualistic life as a shaman. Like I say, I can't teach you how to be a shaman. You are a shaman. I can teach you how to live with your shamanism within your rituals, some of your ceremonies, the things you do every day, types of healing, terms, ideologies, different ideas. Okay. With that, my voice is about gone, believe it or not. And those of you that attended live, thank you for that. Those of you that will be watching the pre recorded broadcast later, I look forward to questions, comments, and ideas and what have you. Hoping you have a really good week. Thank you for watching Live with the Shaman. We'll see you next week, right here. First year, part 3.